Hello, everybody, and welcome to Reviews from Hell. I am your host, AJ, and joined with me, as always, tonight is my co-host, Steve.
I'm here.
Sorry, I kind of stuttered there a little bit.
It's better than I would have done. It's a good leader. It was good. I was with you. You got through it.
I had a brain freeze at the second, but we are going to be looking at this new movie starring Anna Cobb. And Steve, go ahead and give them the title on this one.
This is, I think it's Jane Schoenbrun's the filmmaker behind this in a very auteur sense. And it is called We're All Going to the World's Fair. We're all going to the World's Fair. It is playing VOD right now. And it's also in some select.
Yeah, very few select theaters at the moment.
If you live in a cool city, you can go catch it on a big screen basically right now in America. And if you don't, you can go rent it because the art house is in your home now, as David Lynch talked about when he came back to do Twin Peaks a few years ago. And I think that he's right. There's definitely, I'm not trying to say theatrical isn't cool, but for a movie like this, especially the way this has this kind of like post found footage, whatever.
Yeah,
this works best
filming. Yeah,
this works best. I think. I'm sure it has a certain magic at a screening, but a movie like this hits different. And I think about Host too, like right when the pandemic kicked off and got Host. Those movies hit different if you watch them by yourself at home. Like I think that those movies, because they're meant to come at us in a different way. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they're just scarier. I feel like under the covers where where it can kind of hit you where you live almost a little bit, in a way that like I don't know if the movie could do at a cinema, even at a art house screening. I think that it's definitely for the art house, house, whatever. It's definitely for. It's definitely
the next people that seek these kind of films out for sure.
Yeah, it is definitely an auteur-driven artistic statement. It is a complicated film. I feel like it was one of those films that I'm going to keep comparing it to David Lynch. One, because I have a limited vocabulary, and I really like David Lynch. And so I'm going to say what I know. And this movie, like a lot of it, it is a narrative movie. Yeah, sure. But it doesn't really offer a lot of really like easy answers.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt watching it as well. Like, of course, it was a narrative film, like you said, but it was kind of messy, in my opinion. And how
the first time I watched it, like it was just something that like I felt more than I just kind of felt and I really love this movie. It's up on my list of movies I've seen this year, but I thought that it was really I thought a lot of it was really scary in this kind of Lynchian way, where it takes the ordinary and it makes something frightening and surreal and dreamlike about it, to where it just there was some imagery in this movie. There were some moments that fucking scared me. There's the one, probably the one you're thinking of, with where JPB, the character, is watching her sleep. Anyway, there's a moment in this
that one was like very
best scare of the year. Gotta be, just in terms of what I think is scary, because to me there's nothing scarier in anything than that moment in Mulholland Drive when the whole Winky's Diner scene, when he's recounting the dream, and then they go outside around back to the dumpster, and that fucking woman who's all deformed and burnt looking pops out, like stuff like that, and so this definitely has that quality. And but boy, it's definitely, it's a movie that is, you could talk about a lot of things, but it's definitely about identity and about kind of isolation in our own culture now, to where everything is driven online, and how you can lose yourself.
About your online persona versus your in real life, how that factors into it. Yeah.
what is real. It's like we're all out here searching for some sort of a connection. And just like I was talking earlier with the ability to even watch an art house film like this, so immediate to when it comes out now, in many ways, the whole world is connected more than it's ever been. But on the flip side, I think because of all that, because I have the world of knowledge in my pocket at all times about anything pretty much that I could imagine, then we start to feel segregated and isolated, and we are. And so it's you, especially for teens and younger people that are, I'm 36, they're 20 years younger than me, that have, when I was a kid, the internet kind of came in when I was like 11 or
Yeah.
so, 12, and it was like long distance, and we had to
And even when
dial
I
it
was
up.
in high school, you were a little bit older than me, but I remember MySpace being just getting out there when I was maybe a sophomore in high school.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah. And that was, later for me. But I think about people that like grow up and that have grown up in the post internet age, and what all those kind of like, because we all went through those kind of like identity, and especially if you were like, because I'm maladjusted. I mean, I was a maladjusted kid. I got into trouble. I was very antisocial. I'm still pretty antisocial. I have a lot of oddball interests in things, and I never felt like I really fit in. So I think that World's Fair kind of speaks to that, and a lot of people that, I don't want to seem like, it's not like an incel thing. It's just being a kid in today's world and growing up. And I remember how kind of alienated and isolated I felt. And that was, like I said, 25 years or so removed from the age group of the main girl in this film. So anyway, just World's Fair. If anybody's watching this, they're probably like, "Well, what the fuck's the movie about?" It just quickly, World's Fair. It is I think it's an evolution on found footage. I don't know if
Yeah, and it's
it's like
almost
an
like a
internet.
creepypasta version of found footage as well with
It's like mixed
yeah,
media. It's definitely told through a series of uploads onto websites and videos, and the idea is there's this internet game. It's very much, this movie comes from the nightmares of creepy pasta, and
yeah.
I'm a big fan of like Last Podcast on the Left, and they do like creepy pastas and listener pastas all the time, where they just read these scary stories through the episode, and they get really into it. It's really fun, and there's some of the most fun episodes that, it kind of has this chaotic energy. And with creepy pastas, there hasn't really been a movie that I think really captured that vibe well. There's been a couple studio attempts, like the Slender Man movie, that seemed to fall apart before it even came out.
Yeah, there
And
was, like, a lot of trouble in production in that before it even
yeah,
really got off the
yeah.
ground, I remember that, yeah.
And so this movie, I feel like if you're looking for something that kind of definitely comes from like the nightmare fuel of creepy pasta, and feels almost dangerous in that way, I think this is that movie. I think this movie has like, I think this movie will frustrate people. I think that maybe a barrier between that and maybe more mainstream audiences is that it has a hook, but then it doesn't go in conventional ways. Like it
Yeah,
doesn't
that's kind
have
of
like,
what frustrated me in this a little bit, even though I do like films that are out of the box, it just this one just did not hit with me like I wanted it to.
yeah, and not everything will. But with me, the first time I watched it, I think I needed to watch it again, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I've actually sat through it 3 times now, and I got to tell you, there's just a lot there's some really beautiful stuff in here about loneliness and like people just trying to connect, and
And I think I may need to watch it again, I think, honestly.
yeah, yeah, you should check it out again, because I do think it is something, and there is a lot of really cool. I like the when it does go outside of her bedroom, which is where a lot of the narrative takes place. When it goes outside of the main girl, who right now I can't even Casey's bedroom, and it was that actress's first role,
Anna
I think.
Cobb, I
Yeah,
think.
and it goes out into her town, and what do we see when she's filming around with her camera? We see um, strip malls. We see Kentucky Fried Chickens. We see auto zones.
It was almost kind of like a Megan is Missing concept with her kind of
Yeah,
taking that
yeah,
camera out and filming that and stuff. Yeah.
and it's like this is our culture. It's like this is where like most people don't. I mean, a lot of people don't live in New York or LA. A lot of people live in places that look just like that, and they're living in places where laws are. I mean, right now, we have Supreme Court that is apparently about to strike down a half century worth of reproductive rights. We have people that are trying to, and I know that the filmmaker is trans, and so I do want to have some nuance about it because as a straight white guy, there's things about it that I'm sure that
Yeah, we can
I
no longer
would
bitch in this
miss.
society.
Huh?
I said we can no longer bitch in this society.
Yeah, I'm not trying to bitch. I'm just here, happy to be here. But uh, um, yeah,
Oh,
but
okay.
the
What were you
movie
saying?
is the movie is like, um, sorry, I completely lost my train of thought there, but I can't remember what I was going to say. Oh, the movie is in a large part about identity and a on these because on these online forums, there's this like almost shedding of skin to where it almost has this like body horror aspect of it, but a lot of it's still kind of in your mind. So anyway, the
Yeah, it's kind
world's
of like psychological body horror.
yeah, it is like psychological body horror because there are some visuals in it that are quite nightmarish. There's that part where the tickets, like the arcade tickets, come out of the ooh, and I thought that was really well done. All those kind of moments like that, and they're few and far between. And the movie kind of does go in the end, like it kind of goes out in waves, like it kind of breaks and ripples out. It doesn't like go up to something like Paranormal Activity, you know. And whereas if this was a studio film based on this idea, it would, which nothing against Paranormal Activity, when that came out, that was such an indie film, but it changed every. I'm just, you
It
know what I'm
changed the
trying to say.
landscape of independent filmmaking,
Yeah,
probably. In this
but
generation.
now it's changed it so much that that is what the studio would do now is it would do Paranormal Activity with this idea. I feel like it would be the creepypasta Paranormal Activity. I hope I'm making sense to somebody. Somebody's like, I get what he's
Yeah.
saying. There's one person out there that's like, I get what he's saying. I know there is. No, but I think it's really interesting. I think that mileage will vary just depending on how weird you like your shit and how
And
more
if you're, a casual moviegoer that likes mainstream horror, you're probably not going to enjoy this at all.
give it a chance though. You don't know. You don't know.
Yeah.
And it may you may it's never a bad thing to watch something that you think is not for you.
Because
So
you never know. You may be pleasantly surprised.
and what's the worst thing that could happen is you saw a movie from an artist that would is only going to broaden your perspective on anything. So I guarantee you haven't seen too much like this. So it's definitely a movie that right now, if you have access to Wi-Fi and a flat screen in your home or a laptop or whatever iPad, you can rent it right now. You don't have to live in LA or Chicago or New York. You can even here you can do it. So yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of which, it was playing at the Music Box in Chicago, I think, when it first came out.
Oh, see that I would love to be there and obviously have cool theatrical experiences like that. But with this movie, something about like let me just put it this way.
You see,
I,
I feel the opposite of you. I think I would have probably enjoyed it more at the theaters
see,
because
I
I think
think
I would be more focused in on what's going on.
I hear you. I'm sure it would be fine. I guess what I'm thinking of is just the way the oh shit. The my battery might die. Do you want to give this one a rating and do you want to pause for a second and edit this out while I go get a charger so it doesn't drop me?
Yeah, yeah.
Can you
Well,
drop this portion?
yeah.
Okay, hold on then. Hold on. I gotta go find a charger. Shit. I'll be right back.
All right. Well, everybody, while Steve is going to find his charger for his laptop, I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about Anna Cobb a little bit in a performance I think is gonna be a breakthrough performance by her. She is really great in this, and she really commands the screen vividly and emotionally, drains herself throughout the performance, really deep diving into this character. And here comes Steve. He's coming back, so hopefully he has a charger for his laptop. But Anna Cobb gave a really great performance in this. So I think she's bound to be getting more work after this. And Steve is kind of laughing at me. So now hopefully we can get back to this.
What is happening?
I was kind of giving my thoughts on Anna Cobb while you were gone.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope they were good thoughts because she is
Yeah,
awesome.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
and
it's really great. I was like, because I don't know if we're gonna edit that out or what. So I was like, well, I might as well talk.
sure, you might. Why not? I appreciate it. Sorry about that. Another thing that's cool about the movie is the score. And I have it on Spotify. Alex G, whoever that is, sorry, did the score, and it's fantastic. It's very good. It's very good.
Good.
Check it out. Check it out. Yeah.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Just listen to it. It's good. If you're doing some writing or something, just I'm shaking the whole damn computer. If you're doing some writing or something, you put it on. Works all on its own.
And what did you think of Anna Cobb? Because when I was talking while you were away, I was saying she gave a breakout performance in this, and I think she's
It's her
bound to get
first.
more work as well.
I think it's her first movie,
Well,
which
yeah, it's her first one, but yeah.
pretty incredible considering she's in not every single scene of this. There's a couple with JPB, but there are only really her and JPB are the only two people actually in the movie. Her dad yells, some male authority figure yells at her to turn the fucking music off at one point at 3 a.m, but you hear a voice like, you know what I mean? But
yeah, I think it was her dad or somebody.
He is on screen alone 90% of this movie.
Which is incredible.
Yeah, and it says a lot of stuff about how, especially now in whatever this is that we're living in now, the present, identities are very kind of flexible, and there's a lot of kind of performative stuff that goes into especially being online and getting lost in some kind of game world where the lines of fiction and reality start to blur. So it's pretty wild. It's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, it was, and it was very intense watching her on screen for this too.
Yeah, no, there are things in this movie that are truly unsettling, especially like the last time I watched it. It was like probably 4 or 5 in the morning, and I just like woke up and like grabbed a coffee and was like, I'm gonna watch this more time. Just put it on my laptop in bed, just watching it, and really intently watching it. And there were moments that really just fucking creeped me out. There's obviously the one where I don't want to ruin it, but there's the one that would creep anybody out, and it looks straight. It's pulled straight from like creepypasta or like when YouTube used to be fun and creepy all the time. And
yeah, I remember those days. Yeah,
I miss those days. Those are the good old days.
And they had really creepy ghost videos on there too.
Yeah, this movie is for you if you live in those worlds. If you like, I guess, Reddit and creepy pasta and things of that ilk. We're all going to the World's Fair. That's what it is. It is that kind of come to life, or I guess not really life, but it's just as a thought experiment, as if as to how people can kind of either pick up new or lose identities, and how that kind of fucks with their whole existence through the internet.
Right. And like I said, I didn't like this as much as you did on my first viewing, but what you bring up in this review that we're doing makes me kind of want to go revisit it and give it a second chance. You
You
know,
should.
after I give
Yeah.
my grade on this tonight, which is not going to be an outstanding grade for the film, but like I said, I'd probably give this a 2 out of 5 as of right now.
All
But
right.
like I said, I'm going to give it another try because I really like Anna Cobb and what you said about like the creepy pasta stuff like that. I'm going to go check it out and have another watch of it.